For 3 years, this was my job. I cut and glued, shaped and colored to turn rolls of paper into works of art. Before that, this job was a hobby. I started making paper flowers as a diversion, a new art form to help me recapture the love and inspiration that led to my previous creative business, which was combining my interests in literature and paper art. And I started making literature-based paper art to fill the void when circumstances ended my foray into semi-professional belly dance. Maybe I'll get into that later. The point is that 3 times now I've turned my creative hobbies, or tried to turn my creative hobbies, into creative businesses. I don't recommend it. Here's why I think that I should not have done it, and why you might not want to either. First of all, there is no market for your products. I know that your friends and your mom all say that what you do is great and people will certainly buy this from you, but here's the hard truth: they lie. I mean, they don't mean to lie, but they love you and they want the best for you, and they really genuinely do love everything you do. Being perfectly honest, most homemade crafts are not good enough or interesting enough or marketable enough to be the foundation of a whole business. The first things that I tried to sell were collages paired with microfiction pieces that I wrote. That was a terrible idea. I did sell a few here and there, but the reality was that there was no market for something like that. There was so little market for these that I wouldn't have bought them from myself. That, by the way, is a great question to ask yourself. If you were to stumble on this item at a market or in a store, would you be willing to buy it? And more importantly, would you be willing to pay enough money for it that the person making it could make a livable wage based on how long it takes to make that thing? If your answer is no, and be real with yourself here, then that's probably not a good business idea. Secondly, you don't love it. When I was taking dance classes regularly, I remember having a discussion with one of my instructors about some students who had recently dropped out of the class. Some of us, she told me, and I couldn't tell whether she was including me or calling me out, we couldn't stop dancing if we tried. It's as much a part of us as breathing. I nodded at her like I understood, but I absolutely didn't. I love dancing, and I especially loved the style that we were doing at the time, which involved intense connections and communications within a group, but it wasn't like breathing to me. And even after I realized that, I continued on that same path for a while. I joined a troupe and then formed my own group with a friend. We auditioned for paid gigs and we even did some teaching. It didn't end until I moved away, moved on to something else, and didn't have a second thought about what I had left behind. That wouldn't have been sustainable as a business for me. Running a business is not the same as just having a job. It takes more time, more commitment, more drive, and you're just not going to be willing to do that for something that you merely kind of like. You really have to love it. Third, this is not what you were meant to do. Tim Tamashiro has a great TED Talk on the Okinawan concept of ikigai, which is life's purpose. You may have seen a Venn diagram of ikigai floating around on various self-improvement sites. That diagram shows ikigai as the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. Tamashiro describes it a little bit differently. He replaces what you can be paid for with what you can be rewarded for. And that, I think, makes all the difference. I was fairly successful at making paper flowers. I was good at it. People wanted to buy them. I even loved my job. But deep down, I knew that doing that didn't align with my ikigai, with my life's purpose. When I sold a flower or when I taught others the art form, it just didn't ignite a spark inside me. Even though there was a need or at least an appetite in the world for what I was offering, I never felt like I was the person who was meant to be fulfilling that need. No passion welled up inside me when I spoke with customers. No deep belief kept me going from day to day. Someone was meant to do the work I was doing, but that person was not me. Sometimes it takes a while to realize that you're misplacing your efforts, especially when you're on the path to building a business of your own. It can seem like you're following your dream when you're really just following a dream. You're grasping onto the wrong star and not letting go because you're afraid of what will happen if you do. Maybe these warnings will stop you before you've gone as far off the course as I did. Or maybe you're the person listening to this and saying, that's not me. And I hope that that's true. If that's the case, I am absolutely rooting for you. I want you to find success in the thing that makes your heart beat faster and your eyes shine and you can't stop talking about, can't stop thinking about. That thing is out there for you and you will know when you found it. My work now, my ikigai, is connecting with you over living the best life that you can possibly live. I write about mindfulness, motivation, and happiness for creatives of all stripes, and I love what I do. You can find more of my work at my website. It's fromjen.com. From there, you can get to my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, all of my social media. All the links that you need are in the description of this video. You can also help me here by hitting that subscribe and thumbs up button here on YouTube. It really shows me where I'm making a difference and what videos are resonating here with you and which ones aren't. As always, until the next time I see you, I'm wishing you love and joy and all of those good things, and I can't wait to talk to you again.